Your number one source for everything Rye Sports is the Rye Sports Report. On this episode, we have a winter wrap-up, spring preview, an interview with Emmy Award-winning broadcaster Jimmy Roberts, and to finish it off, a fresh Pro Sports edition. All of this and more, straight ahead.
Welcome to the third episode of the Rye Sports Report. I'm Matt Shaneberg.
And I'm Dylan Leahy. Let's get started.
With an imposing 16-4 regular season record and all-section superstar Maddie Eck at the helm, the girls basketball team earned the 3 seed going to the Section 1 playoffs. After a first-round bye, Rye kicked it into high gear against Byram Hills, coming away with a 15-point victory. The Garnets continued their domination in the section quarterfinals, beating Pearl River 54-42. At the Westchester County Center, in a tightly contested match, Rye lost to Peekskill 60-56, ending their exciting season. Be sure to keep a close eye on Eck next year, as she could potentially join the prestigious 1,000-point club as a senior.
With a strong finish, the Rye boys basketball team finished the regular season at 9-9, earning the 13th seed in the playoffs. In the first round, Rye defeated a 20-seed John Jay team 51-37 at home, behind strong play on the boards from Mark Krogan and Drew Abate. In a second-round matchup at arch-rival Harrison, despite the Garnet's strong play, their season ended with a heartbreaking 63-48 loss. However, due to impressive performances from Krogan, sophomore Charlie Nagel, and junior George Kirby, the future is bright for the boys team, and many have already predicted a deep playoff run for next February.
After getting through a competitive divisionals tournament, senior workhorse Jackson Kligerman, sophomores Miles Giordano and Shane Concavage, and freshman phenom Philip Smith all made it through the sectionals. In the end, Jackson Kligerman came away with the best result, finishing in 7th place. A not-so-sparkling team record might lead some to think that the Garnet season was a failure. However, the young Garnets gained valuable experience that will set Rye Wrestling up for success down the road.
Despite their mid-season winning streak, the hockey team dropped 4 of their last 6 games and finished up with a regular season record of 9-11, claiming the 13th seed in the playoffs. A disappointing 4-1 loss to bitter rival Pelham left the Garnets hungry for a playoff run, but sadly, in the first round, the Garnets lost to a 4th-seeded Ryetown Harrison team 5-2, ending their season. With a deep junior class and few graduating seniors, expect the Rye hockey team to be at peak performance next winter and to wreak havoc within Section 1.
Both the girls and boys track and field teams saw some outstanding individual performances this year. Led by senior captains Ryan Bird and Kenta Takatsu, the boys team sent several competitors deep into the playoff season and came out with some impressive achievements. At this year's county meet, Bird set a new school and meet record for the 1,000-meter race and was the county champion. Also, the 4x200 relay team of Jack Westerink, Stephen Coster, and the Dinowitz twins set a new school record. Junior distance runner Jack Ryan secured a spot at Nationals, posting an insane 9-minute 23-second time in the 2-mile race. And finally, junior Ian George earned the bronze medal in Class B shot put. On the girls' side, senior captain Maggie McDermott had an unbelievable season, leading the girls in several distance events. McDermott set school records in the 3,200, 3,000, and 800-meter races. The Garnets are graduating quite a few athletes, but expect their youth and depth to carry them to another successful season.
The boys squash team may not have lived up to its expectations this year, but members are excited for the future. The team posted a 3-8 record, coming in last place of Division IV Nationals, while its Team B came in last place at Division V. Some highlights include quality wins against Green Farms Academy, St. Luke's, and the Canterbury School. While coaches Jason Hicks and Quan Wynn are sad to lose seniors Charlie Swank, Mason Baldwin, and Jack Maresca, they are confident that next year's pool of talent will provide a new bounce-back season. The girls' team finished up with a 10-5 record. Led by sophomore Caroline Neve and freshman Caroline Baldwin, the girls finished 4th at Nationals. The team is very confident that they will only improve in the coming years. Now we're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned as we preview the upcoming spring season.
Welcome back to the Rye Sports Report. After surpassing all expectations last spring, the Rye baseball team looks to put together another incredible season. Last year, led by senior studs Brennan Tripodi, Luke Meyerson, and Griffin Tootin, the Garnets made it all the way to the state championship game. Despite losing these key players, the Garnets will be returning this spring with strong leaders in Tim DeGraw and Sam Lubeck. Junior pitcher George Kirby will aim to replicate his record-shattering stat line of 10-0 and a .92 ERA. An all-around athlete, junior Ryan Trudell has a shortstop position locked up, as he has been working extremely hard in the offseason. Just a few weeks ago, Rye was ranked the #1 team in New York State by MaxPreps.com. Under veteran head coach Mike Bruno and assistant coach Chad Charney, the Garnets will open the season April 10th at home against Tappan Zee. With 2 Division I commits and a plethora of young talent, Rye appears to be on the verge of another spectacular season.
With captains Amanda Yannette, Kira Nemsick, Amelia Haddad, and Emily Antonazzi, the varsity softball team will attempt to bring the program back to prominence. With Catherine Brown and Molly Heribald on the mound and a strong defense behind them, the Rye team will look to limit runs allowed, an issue that they were plagued by in 2013. Coach Tahara, a former minor league baseball player, has been a part of the program for years and knows what it takes to bring his team to the section championship. Over spring break, the team will head down to the ESPN Center in Orlando, Florida to warm up for the season. Softball plays its home games on the Rye High School campus, so make sure to come out and support the team.
Because Dylan and I are both members of the varsity golf team, we decided to send our correspondent Dane Monahan to our home course, Rye Golf Club.
What do you have for us, Dane?
Well guys, I'm out here at Rye Golf Club, where the girls and boys teams will be taking the tee this spring. With returning sophomore James McHugh and section qualifiers Jack Maresca, Will Gladstone, and our very own Matt Shaneberg, this looks like it could be a dynasty in the making. Will Caldwell and Dylan Leahy had some much-needed depth in a sport that values all scores equally. Couple that with a strong incoming freshman class, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see them take home the section title. Now on to the girls. After losing D1 talent in Alexis Hios, sister Sarah Hios and state qualifier Frida Henningsen look to fill that void. Look for them and others to take this team to yet another league title. That's all I got out here, guys. Back to you, Matt.
Thanks, Dane. Recently, I got a chance to sit down with Rye's own 13-time Emmy Award-winning broadcaster, Jimmy Roberts. Though he hosts his own show, In Play, on Golf Channel, and anchors the Notre Dame football halftime show, Mr. Roberts has taken valuable time out of his day for an extremely exclusive interview. Take a look.
We have a real treat today. Rye's own 13-time Emmy Award-winning broadcaster, Jimmy Roberts. Thanks so much for joining us, Mr. Roberts.
Matt, it's good to be with you.
So to call Tiger Woods' last couple of years a mess would be a massive understatement. What's it going to take for Tiger to get back on track to competing for majors, the Tiger that the sport wants to see?
It's a complicated question, and it's a question that everybody's asking, and I'm not sure that the answer is simple at all. Let's break it down to its component parts. First of all, I don't think he's ever going to be what he was, because what he was a freak of nature. If you look back on the history of the game of golf, and you look at, and now I don't have the exact numbers here, but I'm going to ballpark it for you, and I think I'm probably going to be pretty close. Jack Nicklaus is generally acknowledged as the greatest golfer of all time, and at the height of his success, he won about between 10 to 12% of the times he played. Tiger, during an equivalent time in his career, won 30% plus. So he doubled the winning percentage of the greatest player of all time. Now that should tell you that he was somewhat of an outlier. That type of success is just not sustainable. Anybody who plays golf understands that there are days that you wake up and you have good days and you have bad days. I often maintain that Tiger Woods was the best golfer in the world, not because he shot 63 more often than anybody else, but it was because he shot 76 fewer times than anybody else. Golf is a game where people struggle, even the best struggle. Tiger just never struggled, and I think basically it was what they would call in mathematics a reversion to the mean. Basically, this is the way the game is. Everybody struggles with it at some point or another. He just never did. And I think that you combine that with the fact that he's had an enormous amount of physical problems. He's 40 years old, 39 years old right now, but he's gotten to the point where his body isn't bulletproof. You can do a lot of things when you're 23 that you can't do at 40. And so that's a factor. I think another big factor is that there was a time when he was winning, when he was unbeatable, principally because of his talent, but there was a psychological element too. And I think that there's an old story in golf that involved Jack Nicklaus and a player named J.C. Snead, who happened to be Sam Snead's nephew. And they asked J.C. once about going up against Jack. And he said, well, the problem is Jack knows he's going to beat you. You know that Jack's going to beat you. And you know that Jack knows that he's going to beat you. The point is that Tiger was able to get in a lot of people's head because he just really never exhibited any downside. He would always win when he went head-to-head with people in big situations. Once there was a crack in the armor, then I think that things kind of snowballed for him. He wasn't unbeatable anymore, and people saw that he wasn't unbeatable anymore. So it's kind of a long, very complicated answer. And I don't even know if I've answered your question, but I think he needs to get healthy again. I think he needs to kind of get a hold of certain aspects of the technical aspects of his golf game, and then we'll see.
Right, and as you said, he's 40 years old. Once you reach 40, golfers start to go downhill. It gets really hard to win majors, and that's that's what we hear about nowadays. Jack Nicklaus's major record, 18 majors. Tiger has 14. Do you believe there's still a chance he can potentially break that or tie it? Or do you think it's just too little, too late?
I don't think he's going to do it. You know, I think really the greater question was, we once assumed that he was going to break the PGA Tour record for most victories, which was held by Sam Snead, which is 82, and I think Tiger has 79 now. At one point, that was a foregone conclusion. 2 years ago, he won 5 times on tour. I'm not so sure he's going to get that record. I somehow believe, because of his extraordinary talent, that he will win another major championship. And who knows? Again, things could snowball for him. He's just a talent like we've never seen before. But I think that there are some demons that are living in his golf game right now, and he needs to exercise them before there's any reasonable expectation that he could challenge any of those records, whether Jack's or Sam Snead's.
For the complete Jimmy Roberts interview, check out our YouTube channel or rivetv.org.
Heading into the 2015 campaign, the Rye Boys lacrosse team looks to maintain the success they've displayed over the recent years. Head coach Brian Dooley, along with his brother and assistant coach Scott Dooley, have established a winning culture here at Rye, and there's no reason to expect anything other than success this year. Although they lost Division I players Chris Santangelo and Laz Chavez to Penn and Syracuse, respectively, Rye's bringing back a great deal of talent, including seniors Noah Spaeth and Drew Abate, as well as junior Theo Breslin. Abate and Susquehanna University commit Soya Godo promise to anchor a rock-solid defense, while Breslin and a solid attack line will light up the scoreboard on offense.
The Varsity Boys tennis team is another team that has always shown consistent success. Coach Sue Dixon has been bringing in young talent on top of retaining already proven players. Captain Andrew Manuel will be the top player to watch, while sophomores Alex Trediak and Andrew Burke will also add valuable depth. Head on over to Rye Rec on April 8th to watch these players start the season strong against Blind Brook High School.
Now for the girls lacrosse team. After a solid 12-5 record in 2014, the Garnets are looking to have an even better season this spring. Although this team has their work cut out for them with the graduation of all-section senior Kate Whiston and a very challenging schedule, Coach Murphy's squad looks like it could be a contender for the section title once more. The team returns all-section talent in Duke commit Charlotte Tucci and Georgetown commit Micheline DiNardo. They, along with captains Peyton Emery and Holly Hunter, look primed to take the Garnets through yet another successful season.
A couple of last notes before we head into our commercial. The crew team, headed by Princeton commit Jim Palmer, is looking to make some noise in Section 1 this year. With a heavily loaded senior class, these early birds are in a good position to set school and regatta records. Also, Jack Ryan and Ryan Bird will continue their stellar track careers as they will compete for a spot to go to nationals in the 3,200 and 1,000 meter races respectively. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be an awesome spring season.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we had a great winter season, and I don't think there's any reason to expect anything less in the spring.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. As I head over to the sauna, you guys stay right there.
In the fast-moving world of internet technology, many of us are looking for help. Here at Rye TV Studio, 2 generations have joined to help leap this gap. It has been a wonderful merger of minds. the Rye Youth Council, and SPRY members. These workshops are a wonderful way of honing these skills. There will be more of these workshops in the coming school year. The Rye Youth Council volunteers are ready to help. If you wish to attend one of these workshops, please contact Betty at the SPRY office.
Welcome back to the Rye Sports Report. We're in the sauna. I got resident expert Dom Gorneri. We're going to discuss the NFL draft. So Dom, first question, Marcus Mariota or Jameis Winston? Who do you like going higher, and who do you think is going to be the better NFL quarterback?
Well, I think first pick, the Bucs should definitely draft Jameis Winston, although there are the obvious off-the-field concerns as if he's the more pro-style quarterback and ready to make that first-year move to the NFL. I think over time, however, both quarterbacks will be highly successful.
So who do you see Mariota? Who's the best fit for Mariota?
I like him either at number 2 to the Titans, a young, good coach with Ken Wisenhunt, or possibly number 6 to the Jets. They brought in Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker, a good young offense that can help him make that transition to the NFL easier.
Definitely. So Melvin Gordon or Todd Gurley? Gordon coming out of Wisconsin, power runner, and Todd Gurley, he's had a little bit of injury issues, but if you can put it past him, I mean, he could be a potential absolute star.
I'm not very concerned about the injuries. We've seen guys like Adrian Peterson, Jamal Charles come back from ACL injuries and be as good as ever. So I would go with Todd Gurley. He was the best player in the country probably last year until he had that torn ACL, combined speed, power, vision, everything you want out of a running back. I think he could go mid-first round, be an immediate impact for a team like the Cowboys or the Chargers or the Colts.
Nice. So who do you see what are the needs for the Jets and the Giants?
Well, I think they address one of their needs trading for Brandon Marshall in the offseason, but I think pass rusher and obviously quarterback are two big needs. I like a guy like Dante Fowler Jr. Out of Florida for the Jets, or maybe a quarterback if Marcus Mariota falls to 6. And for the Giants, I think offensive line is a big concern for them. Possibly offensive guard Brandon Scherf from Iowa would be a great fit, or on the defensive side of the ball, safety Landon Collins out of Alabama would be a great fit in that defense.
Definitely. So give us your top 3.
Top 3. Well, first overall, I would have to go to the Bucs, Jameis Winston. I think that's pretty clear at this point. Number 2, I think it's up for debate, but I think it's trending now to Mariota. It's a quarterback-driven league now. You have to have one. And number 3, for the Jacksonville Jaguars, they have their quarterback in Blake Bortles, a good young defense. I see them going a defensive tackle, Leonard Williams out of USC. Great 3-technique guy, can play inside, outside. Great player.
You guys heard it here from our resident insider, Dom Gorneri. That's all we got here at the Rye Sports Report. We'll see you in a month or 2 for the spring wrap-up.